Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. And I'm your host, Dorothy Odell, for this evening. I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor of today's show, which is Unstoppable Overcomers. We have an amazing 7-week program starting February 6th just for you. We have launched Operation Hope, which stands for Helping Other People Evolve. And our first 7-week course is starting February 6th. And, we're going to unlock that potential, bring hope back into your life, and get you on to the next steps that helped me go from just merely surviving to absolutely thriving. So, with that, though, I would love to bring to the screen Kathryn Lang. Welcome to the show, Kathryn.
Yay!
I am so excited for you to be here. This woman is like a firehouse. If you don't know her, you need to know her. Everything we do together, it's like we have fun. I love it.
Well, I mean, if you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying the journey, it is time to change rides or seatmates. One of the two.
Or both at the same time.
Sometimes. Well, I suggest getting off the ride before you change seatmates. They get really upset when you throw them out of the cart.
Yes, that's true. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a fun show. So, Kathryn, tell us a little bit about yourself. I can hear the Southern accent, so
I do not have an accent. I just want to put that out there. I'm always shocked when I find out that I have an accent, and this has nothing to do with who I am. But I was hanging out with someone who has a Southern accent, and I'm talking one of those good, hardcore Southern accents, and was at a homeschool event, and she and I were talking for 2 hours, and I had to go give a presentation that night. And when I went back and I listened to and I still have the audio, I have audio proof. I said kilt, and I was not talking about Scottish attire.
Oh.
So be careful who you hang around with, because it's going to come out. I am Kathryn Lang. I'm a Hope Smith encourager extraordinaire and a professional instigator. I instigate your unique design in you.
Oh, tell us more about that. How do you do that? Because that sounds like nothing I've heard before.
Well, we're all uniquely designed on purpose and for a purpose. And where we get into trouble and where we get into the weeds is when we try to do things the way everybody else tells us we're going to have to do it. And that's really what happened to me. Is I was doing what I love to do. I was doing it in my own unique way. And then somebody told me, well, this is the right way to do it. And I wasn't doing it the right way. And you would think, since I never did it the right way my entire life, it would not be a shock to me that I wasn't doing it the right way. But I was having success and I was doing what I love to do. And when I started shifting, I lost my voice. And I never wanted to see anybody else do that again. And I call myself an instigator because we need somebody to fire us up. We need somebody to turn the ignition on. And more importantly, we need somebody to tell us we don't have to have permission.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's what I try to do, is help you understand that your unique design is unique to you. Nobody else can tell you how to do it because nobody else can walk it, and nobody else can give you permission because it's your life, your way, your voice.
I love that. So what do you say to somebody that says, "Oh no, I have to niche down"?
Well, you do have to niche down, but you have to niche down to your niche, not to what they tell you your niche is. One of my favorite things, especially for podcasters and live streamers and even writers, is when they say, who's your target market? Who are you speaking to? And I would be like, I'm talking to a mirror. Literally, I have a mirror behind the webcam that I talk to because I make faces and they make me laugh. And so even when I'm doing radio, I'm talking to somebody and I'm talking to myself 90% of the time. And a lot of times that's who our ideal customer is. That is who our ideal person is. And it's who we enjoy working with. Well, some of us enjoy hanging out with ourselves. Some people don't like themselves very much. And that's because they're trying to be something they're not.
Yes. No.
When we're being ourselves, we tend to enjoy the journey a lot more.
Yes. Absolutely. It's funny that you said that because the other day I was um, doing an ad, like we're just writing up something for one of the courses that I have, and I literally took it from my perspective on how things were at that moment. Like how did I think, feel, and act at that time? And so that's like I dug into that person, and that's who was speaking in that post. So I love that you said that because a lot of people just, they're not authentic and they just go with whomever they think that somebody else is telling them they should be.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what gets us into trouble, and that's what gets us miserable, is trying to be something that we are not designed to be, trying to copy somebody else's success. And
Mhm.
when we take the time to define our unique success, what success means to us. I was sharing with somebody just recently, and I suggested sit down and write out your ideal day. What does your ideal day, your perfect day, what does it look like? And this is not the perfect day. I'm going to sit at the beach all day, because let's be honest, if you went to the beach all day, you get tired of the beach. And
Mhm.
and you don't go sit at the beach all day. You go do stuff at the beach. You go sit at the beach and you read, or you go have a snack, or you go inside. You're doing a lot of different stuff. So what is your ideal day? And that helps you understand what it is you really want to be doing with your life.
Mhm. I love that. I heard somebody else also say that write out not only your perfect day but your perfect life, like what it is that you and look at it a year from now, and then see
Mhm.
how exactly how your life actually truly unfolded.
Yes.
So I love that. I started attempted to do it, and then I got waylaid because I'm like, squirrel, boom, off to something else. uh
Yes.
I have an
I can relate to
attention span.
relate to that squirrel, whole squirrel concept. Where we used to live before the tornado hit us, out my office window, I could watch the squirrels, and it's distracting enough to chase your own squirrels, but when there's literal squirrels right outside your window doing stuff, it just adds to the chaos in your life.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I get that. Totally get it. So who's your favorite client to work with?
Me, a mother, preferably a homeschool, a homeschool mother, somebody that's not afraid of faith, that is not afraid of doing things outside the box, or better yet, doesn't even know there is a box.
Love
Um,
it.
yeah, because I am not a box person, and I get miserable when somebody puts me. So that's how you know I'm a squirrel. I get miserable when somebody sticks me in a box. I'll gnaw my way out if that's what it takes. Um, and it is somebody that is trying to figure out what it is that they're supposed to be doing and how they're supposed to be doing it. We get on this hamster wheel of busy, especially as moms, and when we get exhausted, that's when we start looking for help. I want you before you get exhausted. We need the energy, we need the momentum to take that next step. And if we're too exhausted to even know that we're exhausted,
Mhm.
then we struggle. But yeah, it would be a mom, a homeschool mom, preferably, that has children, that is just struggling to figure it all out.
Mhm. Love it. Love it. Love it. And what three things did you have to overcome in business to get to where you're at today?
Number one, I live in a small rural community in Alabama. That's where the accent comes from. And we did not even have internet when we first moved into, and this was, I mean, it's not like it was 100 years ago. We moved into the house 25 years ago. We had dial up for the longest time, and then I had to pay by the foot to get cable run to our house. And it was so expensive. The cable guy went, "Are you sure you really need internet?" So that was number one, is the logistics of it all. And there were ways around it. There's always ways around what you struggle against. So I would go to sit in the library parking lot while my sons did scouts, because they did scouts next door. And I would use the Wi-Fi at the library to do
Oh.
online writing. The other thing that I struggle with is getting seen, because we live in a very chaotic world. There is a lot of noise and a lot of stuff going on. And especially with people who know me. They have no idea who I am or what I do. They just know the person they grew up with. I live in the same town that my grandparents grew up in.
Oh,
So,
wow.
there's some very deep roots here, and they have no clue. They just see me as the little girl that was, not as who I want to be. So, getting seen, not just the number of eyes, but people seeing and recognizing who I am. The more I know me, the more I believe in who I am, the more I understand that, the easier it is to get past those barriers. So you have to know you. So logistics, getting seen, and then finances. And who among us have, as an entrepreneur, has not struggled with finances? And the better you budget, the better you plan, the better your foundation for taking the next step.
I absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing that with us, because it's funny. You're the only one out of 200 and some odd interviews that I've done that hadn't said mindset.
I didn't even see it because it doesn't even cross. It just even cross my mind at this point. And it's really, I will be honest, it has been in the last few weeks that I have gotten. It's been in the last few years. 2020 was crazy for everybody. I
Mhm.
win. I got a tornado. And so it changes
Did
everything.
you lose the house in the tornado?
Oh yeah, it landed on us. It literally
Oh,
landed on us. It literally landed on us and nobody else. We had our whole Dorothy moment. No ruby slippers included.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was wild. And then we got to fight with the insurance company and we got to go through this whole process. And I just decided that enough is enough. I've made excuses. I've let other people convince me that their way is better. And when I am authentically me, I am the happiest and I make the best impression and the best connections.
Absolutely. Be yourself, 100%. Everybody else is taken. So,
Exactly.
and with your sparkling personality, like why, like you just attract that person that really, wants to. I don't know of anybody who wouldn't want to work with you, because
Well,
just the sparkling personality and that attraction there, like seriously.
well, thank you.
You're welcome. And so, what three things would you say that you help your clients overcome?
The first thing that I really emphasize is you have to find your way. And I cannot tell you what that is because your way is different from my way. I can listen to you. I can give examples. I can make suggestions. But ultimately, we have to find your way for working it out because it's your journey. And that's where the focused flexibility comes in. We want to get so honed in on what it is that we want to do, but we have to be flexible in the journey because life's going to happen. And
Mhm.
just as soon as you lock in a perfect schedule, you're going to have to change it. You're going to have to do something different. You're going to have to take your husband to work at, you have to get up at 3:30 in the morning instead of 5:30 in the morning because now you have to take your husband to work so your son can have the car. You just don't know. And if you uh, we're going to hone in on who you are, we're going to hone in on your flexibility, what works for you. And then we're going to find a consistency in doing those things, staying focused on you, staying flexible in the journey, but staying consistent in your consistency.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a mouthful. And I have one question, because you got me back at the getting up at 3, which I do, so that's not an issue. But so your son can have the car. Why doesn't your son drive your husband to work so he can have the car?
Because he's a teenage boy, and I'm not real sure they're capable of getting up at that time of morning. But
Sorry.
it works out great for me. I get up, I do my morning routine, and by the time most people get going, I've already finished an entire day's worth of work. And so I can do a lot more of my creative stuff during the peak time of day.
Right. No, and
But
I love that. I get that, because that's me. Like, I'm up at 3:30, I do my routine. I am like the military. I have more done by 9 a.m. than anybody else.
I thought you were going to say you're like the military. You hurry up and wait.
Oh, that's at work. Oops, sorry to anybody out there that's listening from work.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because I do have a day job, but anyway, we won't go there.
I mean, we do it whatever works for you. That's what's important. It has to work for you. The best plan on the planet is a worthless plan if it doesn't work for you because you're not going to work it. You might, that's why I said you have to be consistent in your consistency. You might do it regularly for a little bit, but you're going to burn out because it's not you. That's why everybody fails. Most people fail at resolutions.
Yes.
They're doing what somebody's told them they're supposed to do, so they burn out.
Never thought of it that way. And you're right. Yeah, that's why I don't do resolutions anymore. I did, so get this, I did 75 hard. I ended it just before Christmas, and I was like so proud of myself because it's like so laser focused. So
Yeah.
I felt focused in like my workouts, in my home life, in the business part aspect of everything. And so I get it. Like when you're laser focused on something, and I was so proud of myself because that's the first time, no, the second time in the last 5 years I was able to accomplish and something and start to finish. So
Yep. Yeah, that's like National Novel Writing Month is in November, and it is you write an entire novel in 1 month.
Doable.
But you write it one day, one day at a time and one little bit at a time. And I got so inspired by that one year that I dedicated a year to writing every day. And when I got to the end of the year, I'd written 1 million words.
Wow.
And I was like, man, if you can do just a little bit every day, just a little bit. And that's when I got onto this kick of little bits. Little bits make such a big difference in our journey. And little bits are really what get us in the ditch in the first place because we're doing the bad little bits. And if we would just do the good little bits, we would take flight into all of our possibilities. And if we're doing the good little bits, if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we don't have time to do what we're not supposed to be doing anyway.
Amen to that. It's funny you said that today, because normally there's this guy at work that brings donuts, and I'm like, why do you bring them in? Like seriously, I'm not supposed to eat them. The kitchen's right behind me. So, and normally for donuts, I have pretty good willpower. Like it really takes something for a donut to get me to eat it, because I really, that's not my thing. If I'm going to waste calories, it's going to be ice cream. So, so today I messaged him and I said, "Hey Tony, no donuts today?" He goes, "No, that's in 2 weeks for Shrove Tuesday, Fat Tuesday, whatever." And he says, "Why today?" I said, "Because today I would have ate one. Normally I wouldn't eat one." He says, "Fair enough." So instead, I had some protein instead, and which was what I was supposed to have. Even though I could still taste that donut, that yeasty donut right now.
There is nothing quite like a hot Krispy Kreme donut.
We don't have them here.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you. We had National Talk Like a Pirate Month. I mean, National Talk Like a Pirate Day. Every year, for the longest time, Krispy Kreme donuts would give you an entire dozen donuts if you dressed up like a pirate. And my husband and my 3 boys would go to the different local Krispy Kreme. So there's 4 in this one area, and they would go to the 4 and they'd bring home 16. Well, they didn't never make it home with 16 dozen, but they would come home with multiple dozens of Krispy Kreme donuts, and 12 of them will fit into a freezer bag, and they defrost so beautifully.
There we go, folks. For all my American friends out there, go get yourself a Krispy Kreme donuts. We used to have them, but then they left Canada. I haven't seen one. And funny, I finally moved to the south side of Windsor, and that's where they were, and now they're gone.
And they left. They heard you were coming, and you didn't like donuts, so they just packed up and left.
That's right. It's all because of me, folks. There we go. I got broad shoulders. I'll take it.
Oh,
Wow. So are your 5 business tips for our listeners today?
My number one business tip is going to be find what you love to do. If you find what you love to do, and that's going to be ultimately comes from who you are, not what somebody else told you you're good at, not even something that you are good at.
Mhm.
It's something that you love, because just because you're good at something doesn't mean it's what you're supposed to be doing. I can I can corral kids to no end. I had boys, I had Boy Scouts, I was a lifeguard. I have the magic mom that will stop everything in its tracks. It is not my calling. It's not something I want to be doing. I can do it. It's not something I want. So find what you love to do, and
Love
then you'll
that.
never have to work a day in your life. So that's number one. Find what you love to do from who you are, not from what other people tell you.
Mm,
The second thing is surround yourself with people who dare the impossible.
I love that.
Yeah. Because we get around people with the mindset of we have to do it a certain way, we have to be practical. It's never been done that way before. And when you're around people with that mindset, they drag you down, they anchor you to the ground. And if
Mhm.
you want to take flight, you have to be around people who are willing to take flight. And that you can't do that anchored to the ground. You need to take
Right.
flight. And my third thing would be to find your way for organization. You need to be organized. Now, it can be your organization, and it should be your organization, but find a way to be organized. The fourth thing would be lean into your strengths. Forget about trying to grow your weaknesses. There is a reason you are weak in those areas. They are not your strengths. Your superpowers, your strengths are what make you unique in all the world. Lean into those with all that you have and connect with people who are strong in your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Build relationships in that area. So that would be my fifth thing: build relationships. We are stronger, we're bolder, and we're better when we go together.
I absolutely agree 100%. My word for the last 3 years has been collaboration. And I guess I picked it 3 years in a row because I still believe in it. And I still,
Consistency in your collaboration.
exactly. Well, and not only that, because I believe that, like you said, we go further together. And I'm of our motto is leave no man or woman left behind.
Yep.
You know, again, I can't help it, it's the army way, but uh, that's it, as soon as those veterans has like latched onto us here at Unstoppable Overcomers, it's like I can't get rid of the terminology or
Right.
my amazing people, and nor would I, because they have my six and I got theirs. So
Yep.
um it's funny. But yeah, I our goal was, my business partner has this goal that radiant radical financial freedom for all by 2020 2035. So like everybody. So we end homelessness, we end all that crap, So that's what we're that's what we're to create. That's what keeps me up at night.
Well, I mean, the more we get people to lean into who they are, the more we'll be able to do that. Because, uh, my dad grew up in a community. He did not have running water until he went to college, but it never dawned on him that he wasn't thriving in his life
Mm,
until somebody told him that that's not thriving. And we had a family that lived next door to us. They had 3 generations living in the same household. I loved that, the culture and the history that dwelled in that house.
mm,
But just down the road, everybody had their own room. Everybody had their own family room, their own room to watch TV. They never saw each other. So the more we understand our uniqueness and what we consider success, the more we can thrive in it. And
mm.
and that'll help with the homelessness, that'll help with the financial situation. It'll help with all of it.
Right. Absolutely. I always say go back to the basics. If you're in a rut, go back to the basics. Because truly that's where it's at. We try and we overcomplicate things. Um, you
Yeah.
know, And I'm like, why didn't I just stick with that? You go back to consistency. If I would have stayed on the same trajectory that I started 3 years ago, I would be a hell of a lot further along to where I am at today.
Yeah,
However,
I just found an article that I wrote about finding myself where I should have been and 5 years ago, and this was 20 years ago. So sometimes we just need to keep reminding ourselves, and it all comes back to being who you're supposed to be. Quit trying to be everybody else. Quit trying to chase everything. It is simple. It is simple because it is you.
yes, 100%. 100%. Love that. Keep it simple, sweetie.
That's right. Keep it.
Love it.
There's also keep it short and simple. Keep it simple, and I mean there's multiple different ones because I hate the original Kiss.
Yeah.
And that's great. Fine, but again, find what works for you.
Hmm. Absolutely. Wow, such richness in this. And we thought it would just be like comedian night, because that's how it started off in the green room. We thought we were gonna be two comedians here tonight.
Who
So
knows? You never know. You never know when you get talking, especially when it's about your passion and what you're passionate about. And I love watching people thrive in their journey.
yeah, absolutely. I love hearing people's stories, because we all have a story, and
Mhm.
I believe by sharing them, that's why we started the shows. It helps people when they're stuck, or they think they're alone in something. You're never alone.
No.
Seriously. That's why we have the show. That's why we do what we do. But you know, just hearing what other people, like what lifts other people up, I think is inspiring.
Yes.
But then again, I'm weird. I'm a magic unicorn.
But that's the fun, is find more weird people. If you are in a rut right now in your journey, or you're struggling for the next step, find more weird people that are daring to see things different. We need people to be more impractical. We
Mhm.
need people to believe the impossible. We need people to dream dreams that are big enough that it scares them a little and really scares the people around them. That's how we change the world, is daring to dream big enough that it's a little bit scary and a little bit impossible.
Daily. That's how my January has been. That's why I think January has been like 10 years. And just in the month of January, because I'm seriously going through a ring of fire.
But that's how we get strong, and that's how you get s'mores.
So I just need to get marshmallows and graham crackers and
And
marshmallows.
yeah, marshmallows, graham crackers, and chocolate, and you're good to go.
Chocolate. That's what, there we go. Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your pearls of wisdom. For all those that want to connect with Kathryn, go to her website, or where is there the best place to reach you? Is that the best place to reach you?
That is the best. That is the best place. That is my website, kathrynlang.com. You can find me on social media. I am kathrynlang.com. Yeah, Kathryn, remember that? I don't know if y'all had that commercial. .com. Every time I see the .com, I want to sing it. But Kathryn Lang, I'm everywhere as Kathryn Lang. But if you forget, you can find me as a Snarky Rainbow. Snarky Rainbows.
Snarky Rainbows. Okay, so what's with the snarky rainbow?
Well, I was introducing myself at an event, and I was explaining that I love sarcasm, I love wordplay, but I'm a natural born encourager. I'm the person that I came out of the womb and I slapped the doctor on the butt and told him he did a good job. So I am just a natural born encourager. And the guy sitting across the table from me went, encouragement and sarcasm. It's like trying to imagine a snarky rainbow. And the guy sitting next to him was working with me. He was a business coach, and he went, and I went, and I was like, I am the Snarky Rainbow. And he looked it up while we were sitting there. Because I was teaching a class, and he looked it up, and he's like, the domain's available. Get the domain. Get the domain. So I got snarkyrainbows.com.
Love it. Oh
So
my gosh, that's why we get along so well, because I'm the same way. Like sarcasm was my jam. I toned it down a lot,
yeah.
but
Snarky is sarcasm with a hug.
oh, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for bringing your snark. I can't even say it.
Snarky
Snarkasm,
rainbows. Snarky rainbows.
snarky
Yes.
rainbow, snarkasm. There we go. Put them together.
Hey,
Snarkasm. There, you're welcome. Just something new. Get a hold
snarkasm.
get a hold of Kathryn. I promise you, you won't regret it. Uh, we've definitely had a lot of fun here tonight. So thank you, folks, for joining us tonight, and thank you, Kathryn, for being here. And shout out to our last sponsor of today's show is the Kimbra. For more time, money, and resources, get your connection on at thekimbra.com/offers /TZLOAAWV checkout. That's a lot, but it's in the comments. So go check us out. And for those of you that are on Spotify, I'll make sure they're in the show notes. So there we go. So thank you so much. Be
Thank
unstoppable
you.
on all that you do, and see you same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.